What's up, wrestling fans? I'm Jason Courier, and this is your Quick Pin Wrestling Report. If you're a wrestling fan, but you don't have a lot of room in your busy schedule to dedicate towards keeping up with what's going on in the wrestling world, please click subscribe down below, and we're going to keep you up to date on what's going on Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT, and Ring of Honor Wrestling. And we're going to do it all within around 10 minutes or so each, with the idea being that you can stop by, get your update, go on about your day, and then when you do have time to actually sit down and watch some wrestling, you can enjoy it and you don't feel like you're lost or like you've missed out. Money in the Bank 2018 was a super stacked card, so we are going to get right after it. In the pre-show, the Bludgeon Brothers, not a lot of detail here because we've got a lot to cover in under 10 minutes or less. The Bludgeon Brothers took on Gallows and Anderson in the pre-show, and much as was expected even before they announced that it was going to be on the pre-show, the Bludgeon Brothers pretty much dominated this match. Early on, it kind of had that feeling like maybe Gallows and Anderson might somehow sneak the win out, but reality took hold, and the Bludgeon Brothers beat the Magic Killers, the club, the whatever you want to call them, the somehow number one contenders. Love me some Gallows and Anderson, which they wish they would be tag team champions. Didn't happen, wasn't going to happen. Sorry. Sucks, but whatever. The main card started out, the first match of the night, the curtain jerk, was between Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. This was actually a little bit better, I think, than their previous matchup. Big Cass actually lasted a little bit longer before he tapped out. I'm really super surprised they had Big Cass tap out. They seem to be booking him as their next big dude, and he seemed to me like he kind of struggled a little bit in this one. He kind of struggled to throw Daniel around the ring like he should have. Some of the stuff he didn't quite look as powerful as it should have. I'm worried that maybe his knee might be quite not as healthy as it should be. Yeah. Anyway, Bobby Lashley then took on Sami Zayn in the Who Gives a Flying match. A lot of build to this one, a lot of not very good build to this one, a lot of what the F is going on build to this one. Bobby Lashley, though, dominated this match. This was the quickest match on the card, I believe. Seemed like it went by super fast. They were really playing up the whole Sami Zayn has vertigo thing, as Bobby Lashley delivered delayed suplex after delayed suplex, followed by Bobby Lashley then picking up the pin on Sami Zayn. Such a disappointing match between two dudes that should have been awesome. Anyway, Seth Rollins then took on Elias. This was the first title match on the main card, and it was the Intercontinental Championship match between Seth Rollins and Elias Don't Call Me Samson. Cool match, awesome match, actually. Really good match with not such a great finish. It ended kind of wonky. Elias rolled up Seth, and Seth then reached up and grabbed the trunks of Elias and rolled him over and picked up the pin. Ding, 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 ring the bell. Seth Rollins defended his Intercontinental Championship against Elias on kind of a odd finish. The first Money in the Bank ladder match was the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and the participants, 4 from SmackDown, 4 from Raw, were Lana, Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Ember Moon, Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Sasha the Boss Banks. It was an all-out brawl to start. Each of these women, at some point during this match, they got their little shining moment, it felt. I really thought that all these women that were participating really did a great job. Even I hate to say it, but even Lana had her moments where she looked like she had done very well. She had her moments where she didn't look very good, but she had her moments where she looked really, really good. A lot of them, every woman in this match had their moment. They all looked really good. In the end, Becky starts to climb up the ladder. There was lots of this one was going to win it, that one was going to win it. There was a lot of back and forth. In the end, though, Becky Lynch is climbing up the ladder. It looks like she's going to finally come through and have her moment and get it. Then Alexa Bliss quickly climbs to the top of the ladder and knocks off Becky. Becky falls down. There was a ladder that had been set up on the second rope. Becky fell from the top of the ladder, hit her head on the ladder that was set up, went down. Nobody else around. Bliss climbs to the top. Ding, ding, ding. Alexa Bliss is your second ever Money in the Bank. Miss Money in the Bank. Miss Money in the Bank. Yes. The next match of the evening was everybody's favorite match between Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal. Honestly, the best part of this match was the crowd, and they were chanting, "This is boring, this sucks." They were chanting Rusev Day. They were chanting Johnny Wrestling. They were doing the wave. The universe hath spoken, and I don't believe Roman Reigns currently holds the top spot after what happened later on in the evening, especially. In the end, though, Roman Reigns did pick up the victory, and he hit, during some point, I should say that as Jinder came out, Sunil Singh, he came out, he rolled himself out in a wheelchair. He was supposedly stuck in the wheelchair. At some point during the match, he popped out of the wheelchair and then rammed Roman into the ring post. I believe at some point, Jinder even went for a Colossus or set up for a Colossus at some point. Honestly, I only played so close attention to it. I wasn't really into it. Roman, in the end, though, hit Jinder with a spear, and ding, 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 Roman picks up the victory and defeats Jinder Mahal, like anybody cared. The women's SmackDown Championship was up for grabs as Carmella defended against the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Carmella, early on, she was the moonwalking, trash-talking champion for sure. She was dancing around Asuka. Carmella was dancing around Asuka. And eventually, though, Asuka took over the match. It looked like it felt like she was going to win, but then up to the apron came a false Empress of Tomorrow, a faux Empress of Tomorrow. So up to the apron stepped up somebody in the robe and Asuka's mask. Asuka stood in surprise, as did Carmella, really, originally. The mask was removed, and first surprise of this match was, one, it was James Ellsworth behind the mask, which was kind of a surprise, and two, the second surprise of this match had to be when Asuka ate a super kick from Carmella and then took the pin. Distracted or not, Asuka took a pin from the champ. Carmella pinned Asuka. Ding, ding, ding. Carmella defends her title. AJ Styles then took on Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match. This was a very typical last man standing match. Both men just beat the living snot out of each other for what seemed like 30, 40 minutes. It was a long, awesome, good match. AJ caught Nakamura in a calf crusher somewhat early on into the match. Nakamura was trying to tap out. Obviously, there was no tap out, so because it's last man standing match, even though he tapped out, he still managed to reach his feet. AJ got thrown through a table. AJ got suplexed, I believe, or powerbombed. I believe it was a suplex onto the metal ramp. AJ dodged a low blow from Nakamura. I believe he even took a low blow from Nakamura at some point. AJ took a chair to Nakamura, who begged AJ to please stop, but that's not the way this match works. AJ, at the very end, this was an awesome match. To make it quick, though, at the very end, AJ went flying from the inside of the ring. He's standing inside of the ring. He's got Nakamura laid out on the announcer's table on the outside of the ring. He goes flying with a phenomenal forearm to the outside of the ring, onto the table, crashes through the table, crashes through Nakamura. Ref counts to 10, and ding, 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 AJ Styles defends his WWE Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura in the last man standing match. Nia Jax then defended her Raw Women's Championship against early contender Ronda Rousey. Early on in this match, it seemed like Ronda was pretty much getting thrown around by Nia Jax a bit. She was giving her a little bit of her own, though. She surprisingly picked up Nia a couple of times and gave her two suplexes, I believe, that I didn't think I'm sorry, one was a flip over, the other was a suplex. But either way, she held her own for the most part. She's very strong to throw around Nia Jax like that. Ronda, at one point, it was super awesome. It's a super cool moment. She got up to the top ropes, and the announcers were doing oh my goodness, Ronda's going to the top. Like, what? She's actually being a wrestler. Like, holy shit, what's going on here? Ronda gets to the top ropes, and she kind of loses her balance a little bit, and she does the whoa. It was an awesome moment. So Ronda then kind of goes for a series of arm bars and gets blocked a couple of times, and she tries it a couple of times during the match. Finally, during one point in the match, she locks onto the arm bar, and Nia's doing the one finger, two finger, I'm almost, and she finally lets go, and she's got the arm straight, and Ronda glances down at Nia and gives her that look like, I'm about to rip your fucking arm off, and gets hit from the back by the Money in the Bank contract carried by Miss Alexa Bliss. So, ding, 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 match over, disqualified. This one's over, but Alexa beats the living shit out of Ronda with the briefcase, throws her out, says, Ronda, you're not ready for me, beats on Nia with the briefcase, ends up hitting Twisted Bliss from the top ropes. Ding, 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 cash in right here, right now, tonight. Alexa Bliss wins the Raw Women's Championship in a fucking shocker. I didn't mean to say in a shocker. In a shocker. The men's Money in the Bank then followed, and this was the main event of the evening. I promise I won't go too much longer. This was a match where at the very beginning, the participants for this match, again, 4 from Raw, 4 from SmackDown, same thing. Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, Braun Strowman, The Miz, Rusev, Finn Balor, and the mystery member of the New Day was played all the way up until the end. Big E, they were all 3 standing up at the top of the ramp. Big E starts to take off his vest. He takes off his vest like he's going to be the one that comes out. Then Xavier Woods kind of pushes him away, and he takes his shirt off like he's going to be the one that comes out. But Xavier across his chest has Kofi. So boom, Kofi Kingston is in his 7th or 6th or 7th, something like that, ladder match or Money in the Bank ladder match. Super cool. Kofi is the best choice. Honestly, I thought some other story were going to go around, but you can watch Stephen J. Show to see that. But anyway, the good choice, awesome choice. So it's Kofi Kingston as the member of the New Day that is going to be the participant in Money in the Bank. Everybody gangs up on Braun. early on. They all beat on him. They bury him with the ladders. Finn does the coup de grace from the top of the ladder, from the outside of the ring onto the inside of the ring. He then runs up the ramp. He's super pumped. He's going to grab a ladder. He's going to come back down, and he's going to win this match. But from the rubble, Braun grabs the ladder, and now Braun's back in the match. He has risen, I do believe, was the words that were used. A little too much for me, but he has risen. So Braun comes from the rubble, and Braun actually, to cut it short, everybody had their moment in this match, just like the women's match, but Braun in the very end, he's climbing up the ladder to chase Finn, who almost had it, who again almost had it. Finn is walking up the ladder. He's almost there. Braun is chasing him up the ladder, slingboard style, Seth Rollins style from the ropes. Kofi comes flying in. He lands on the back of Braun. He's gripped onto the back of Braun. Braun doesn't give two shits. He's still walking up that ladder with Kofi on his back. He shakes Kofi off his back. He shakes Finn off the ladder. He's the only man on the ladder and only man really around in the ring. Braun climbs to the top, grabs the briefcase. Ding, ding, ding. Braun Strowman is Mr. Money in the Bank 2018. Good luck finding Brock fucking Lesnar with his title. Anyway, so that was Money in the Bank 2018. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much. Sorry I ran way longer than I normally do, but there was a lot going on. It's a pay-per-view event, Raw and SmackDown, and all the rest won't run that long, I promise. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.